Good evening, everyone. This is Julie White from Pennsylvania, and I'm super excited that you're all on our Zoom tonight. We are in for a real special guest tonight. It's just been a delight to get to know her. So what I want to do is mute all the lines and try to keep your lines muted as best you can. So here we go with that. Okay, everyone is muted now, and let me unmute Jackie. Okay, Jackie, I believe you're unmuted.
I think so.
Okay, great. So Jackie is just so good-hearted to join us tonight. She's been busy and traveling, and she's actually at her cabin, which sounds exciting, on a farm. And so anyway, she's just has a great heart, and I just want to share a little bit of her background. I'm so impressed with her background. She's the mom of 6, and her last one is in college. She's been off and on in this industry for 30 years. She doesn't look like she could be old enough to have done that. She started studying nutrition alternatives when she was told she had cancer in her 20s. And she was healed by natural means. She spent many years working in church ministry, speaking, writing, and leading conferences, which sounds wonderful. Her greatest desire is to impact others with love. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And a desire to be their best and achieve their destiny. So I love your heart, Jackie. I'm so excited to hear from you tonight. And I know we're going to do just like a little bit of an interview style. So do you want to start by just sharing a little bit of your story?
I sure will. Thank you so much. I hope I don't cry. I tend to do that. so bear with me.
No worries on that.
Say this, y'all. I hope my teeth aren't blue. I just ate a blueberry smoothie. So if they are, forgive them. I've been trying to make sure they're not. I mean, forgive me for doing that.
No, they're not.
Which part of my story?
Well, would you like to?
Many parts.
Parts. Okay. I'm just going to let you share whatever part you would like to share with us first. So you just go ahead. It all sounds wonderful and helpful. So go ahead.
Well, I think each part plays, maybe leads up to how I ended up here. And because our stories are what makes us who we are. And I've been, as I said, in the industry for off and on for 30 years. And between that time, I spent many years in the ministry, which during that time, I guess you're networking, but from a different aspect. We're still networking, but just a different way. And, it wasn't until probably about 7 years ago or so, I think it was about 7 years ago, maybe eight or 9 years ago, when I was a single parent. And I tell this part of my story because it's so relevant that led me to where I am today. And it was with another company, Julie, that I made my first 6-figure income with. And I love the company. But remember when someone approached me, you mentioned coming in at Christmas. Well, someone called me about that product or that company. I found out about it. They called me around Christmas time. Well, we're a single parent. I had 2 young boys at home, and you don't think you can spend $200, which you can't, at Christmas time, especially as a single parent. And so I told them that, is there any way that I could just buy a kit? I said, so don't ever foo-foo people who don't have money is my point. And I said, I can't afford the whole, because the product was like $160 per month. Pretty expensive. I said, I don't have the money to purchase it. I'd love to because I really wanted the product. I said, but I do have enough money to get a kit, and it was $39. So they had to call the company to see if I could come in with just a kit. I said, I don't have any money, but here was the key. I said, I know people. Like I know people who do have money, even though I don't have money. And so and I came in, and you know what happened? I think we sold like $2,000 before I even got to try the product. I had to earn it for free. They had a free thing. And we went on and did $10,000 that month, and then it grew to $53,000 the next month and 60-some thousand. We ended up that year doing well over $200,000 a month in sales. And I was in love with the whole thing. First time it had ever happened to me. I have another story for another day that I'll tell you that was just incredible. That wasn't as big as that one, but it sustained me. I love, love this industry. It's
Wow.
been so good to me. And there was a time, even and part of before that part, where I was a single parent, that my son was a special needs child. And I was making like 38, 40,000 with just the 10% off of another company that I had been with. And for it allowed me to be home full time with him. And so there's just so much opportunity. I have such a strong belief in our profession. I think it's the most wonderful profession that there is today. I truly believe that. And I think it's a posture that you have to get into to be successful. You can't be hanging your head or thinking what you are doing is half shot or, oh, you're in one of those things. I mean, when I come in to talk to someone, I'm so proud of our industry and especially my company that I'm with now. But what ended up happening, unfortunately, is that company, due to some poor management and some unfortunate things that happened, they ended up being sold and merged with another company that didn't go very well. And literally, I went from like 13, 14,000 a month, just bottomed out like $1,900 a month. And being the sole supporter, it was very, very stressful for me and just had to make a decision. And a friend of mine, this is where I get to my life story. A friend of mine, Sheila Gibbs, had chased me literally for, I guess, 6 months. I was one of those people that, okay, I'll be a customer. Just here, take my credit card. You met those people. They're like, I'll just whatever. Okay, if you want to be your customer, I will. But I was trying to save a sinking ship, and my mind was not about doing another company. And so I signed up as a customer a ways before that. Literally paid no attention. Halfway didn't take it. Just kind of just ignored it because I was so focused on trying to save what I was doing. And she just stayed after me. She would call me and she would talk to me like I was as active in the business as I am now. I would put my phone on speaker and just let her talk. She would she did. She literally followed me and chased me and talked to me like that. And I remember, I'll never forget this. She called me, I don't know, maybe a couple of months, and I'm gonna start crying because this was really amazing. And she said, Jackie, I had a dream about you last night, and it was so real. She said, I dreamed we were at a Life Vantage convention, and here I am in the background rolling my eyes. Oh gosh, here we go again. And she said, you were walking across the stage, and she said you had made Pro 7, and you were getting a great big check. Oh my gosh, which is what I'm going to get is the 25,000. But she just kept speaking into my life. And I tell people, when you have a feeling about someone and you've got a gut feeling that even though they keep telling you I'm not interested, I'm interested, just keep coming at them. Well, let me tell you what she did. And it worked. And I'm so thankful she did. I have another friend who you may have had him on your call, William Lambert. Do you know him?
Oh, no.
William Lambert was with me in the other company. I had sponsored him and we had built together. And he was one of the reasons why my company the other one grew as fast as it did. And we've been friends since we were 4 and 5 years old. We're like brothers and sisters. And she thought she couldn't get my attention. So she said, I'm going to go build a fire underneath me. So she goes to my friend and she starts telling him the science. And she says, I can't get Jackie to pay attention. She said, why don't you just look at this and see what you think? Well, he called me one day and he said, Jackie, have you looked at this product? Have you looked at what Sheila's doing? And I said, well, no, not really, because I've just been busy doing what I'm doing. And he said, well, you need to. He said, because this stuff ought to sell for $1,000 a bottle. And he said, it's only $40. He said, Jackie, we can sell this stuff all day long. That's what got my attention, was him. When she went past me, and I knew what she was doing, she was thought, if I can get his attention, then I know Jackie will pay attention. So sure enough, I went and looked at the science and started studying all the clinicals, and I was really, really blown away. And And then the next process was literally I had to resign my other company because I knew if I was going to do this, I was going to do it in a big way. And unfortunately, because I had been under so much stress, and I don't know if I told you this part, Julie, I'd been under so much stress. I'd moved to, my husband and I now had moved to Richmond, Virginia. And we hadn't been there maybe even 3, 4 weeks. I was barely getting my feet wet with Life Vantage. I had just maybe 4, 5, 6, 8 people that I had put in place. Some of them were leaders, some of them were not. And I was sitting at my desk and I had something happen to me I never thought would ever happen. I had a minor stroke. And I got up from my desk. I was talking on the phone to actually one of the ladies I was bringing in. And I just all of a sudden I didn't feel well. And I got up and started to walk, and I was walking to the left. And it was just, I won't go into the full details, but by the time the ER got there, or the emergency people, my blood pressure was like 239 over 130 something. And so that happened. And I know now that, and I just believe God he put me where I needed to be so I would be able to heal. The tandem helped me so much to be able to go. They told me it would take me 18 months to heal. Thank goodness I didn't have any major motor skills. It heavily affected my brain. I wasn't able to communicate like I do now. I lost a lot of my personality. Very unstable when I walked. But by his grace and mercy, I healed in 7 months. And my team kept growing during that time. This is the beauty of this profession.
That's awesome.
They did. I actually was on the red carpet program. I think I was only able to fulfill 1 month because I couldn't really keep up with it, due to just wasn't able to work. I just did what I could to support them behind the scenes. And I grew to a certain point, and then I was able to go to South Carolina back in February. I was able to go without I didn't have any problems. I was actually feeling really good. It was just like all of a sudden a switch was flipped on and I was well. That's literally what happened after 7 months. It was like all of a sudden I wasn't walking crazy anymore, and my personality came back, and I was able to really communicate. So I really honestly didn't go to work on a big part of this until February of this year. And then I quickly went to Pro 5, Pro 6, and then Pro 7. So that's kind of what happened.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is an incredible story, Jackie. Wow. I
Yeah.
can understand why you could be crying when you're telling your story. And whenever I get on stage, I always cry. But one thing that always encourages me is, I don't know if you know who Brandon Cunningham is. He's a Pro 10.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when he would get on stage, so many times in the beginning, he would stand up there and cry.
It's hard not to. Yeah, it really is. True.
Really is. It definitely pulls at our heart. But that is a wonderful story. Can you share a little bit about how you actually built this business? Because I know you got to Pro 7 in, what was it, like 14 months?
14 months, yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. 14 months.
Well, first of all, I have an incredible team. We don't get anywhere without them. And I was just tremendously blessed with leaders that are committed, and just had the opportunity once I was able to really come to work, which is in February. One of the things that I think is so critical in just sharing with you how we were able to build is I really work very close, and I'm sure all of you here work very close with your leaders. I join forces with them. I'm very big on don't love them and leave them. When you bring them in, being with them through the process. I talk about knowing, it's important to know our why, why we are doing what we're doing, but it's more important to know their why. Why are you, what was their reason for deciding to come and be part of Life Vantage? And I really buy into their why more than I buy into my own why. Because if you buy into their why and you embrace their why as much as they do, guess what? You're going to get your why. it's going to happen. And I think that has been the biggest piece in working with my leaders. I truly make it about them and their why and what they're accomplishing and what they've got to do. And if they're going for Pro 4, I'm going for Pro 4. If they're going for Pro 5, guess what? That's what I'm doing. You know, I don't focus on me getting to Pro anything. I focused on getting them to where they needed to be. And it's just like Zig Ziglar says, you can have everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want, because it truly isn't about us, it's about them. And the more you focus on that and love your team, and I do love them, I really, really do. And I love the family at Life Vantage. And that has, I really believe, been one of the keys, is I've just focused on my team completely. I made it about them.
That's awesome. That is so just, that's a great gold nugget there, because it's really the heart of the whole thing. That's awesome. Can you tell us just a little bit about the other, the steps that you take? Like, I know you told me that you really aren't doing this very much on like social media. So how do you go about the practical steps? Like, do you just, when a new distributor comes in, what do you do with them? How do you get started?
Well, again, I think the most incredible commodity you have is your team and your each and every single distributor that comes in. And if you'll treat them with that $1 million commodity, some people come into the business and they just really want to be part of a community. They want to, maybe get their product at a discount, maybe sell to a few people. And then you're going to meet people who may have never been successful in this industry, but they still want to be. And so when whoever I'm bringing in, I find out immediately what they're after and what they want and what their desires are. And we sit down, and I'm really big on Paysetter. I mean, most of my leaders, I think every one of my leaders succeeded in Paysetter. I have a slide presentation that I'll be happy to share with you if you want it. I put together called Onboarding, and I onboard every new distributor. Our team, I train them to do the same thing, and we onboard them, and we just we try to do that right out the gate, as soon within 24 to 48 hours, and we kind of show them. It's just it's not a real fancy slide presentation. It's like 6 or 7 slides. And we kind of show the commission structure and how it works. And it allows us to roll right into Paysetter and to talk about why Paysetter is important. And also the thing about Paysetter that's so powerful is, they can make that $700 out the gate, which is nice. And I see if you set it as something that we do, guess what? They'll do it. They really will. And if you set that 25, I'm working with someone actually right now. And the other thing, I don't just work with my personals, I work with my people's team when they come in. I go down into the team, and we're a family. I'm like the grandmother, all the mother or the little grandkids come in. And I find out, they let me know. And, we work really tight together. We just brought in a gentleman that's got part out of Mexico and part here in the United States. And I work with them just as close as they do. And we just have that kind of community that we work really tight together. And we don't smother them, but we really do give tremendous support. And so we go over Paysetter, and then I say, okay, our first goal is $2,500. Of course, if they come in a certain time of the month, they have until the end of the following month to do Paysetter. And we map out a strategy for them to get to that $2,500. And then how to get on to the next. But here's the cool thing about it. This slide shows this, that when you get just 4 people that whether it's your personals or someone on your team, when you get 4 people who do Paysetter, that makes you Pro 5. You see it, you've got to keep it dead simple for them. 4 people makes you Pro 5. And when you get 5 people that have gotten 4 people, guess what you are? Pro 7.
Wow. Powerful.
And that's what I teach. And I also teach it, I say it's not that I'm not saying it's easy. It does take work, but it's not complicated. It's just a matter of following the procedures and using that Paysetter. That Paysetter is powerful to the new person coming in. and it allows them to get off the gate, but don't let them do it by themselves. You know, if you just throw pay setter at somebody and say, here, go do it, they probably are not, they may not do it.
Right.
But you join forces with them. And guess who's making pay setter? You are.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you look at it. I'm doing pay setter this month, because it becomes, their why becomes your why. Their goal becomes your goal. And I think probably if I could say anything that's helped me do it faster, it's because I've done that. I work on their goals more than I work on mine.
That's incredible. Yep, that's incredible. So yeah, we would love to see that onboarding slideshow.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I mean, you could probably take it and then make it better than what I've done.
Oh,
Just kind of put something together that we could quickly teach, you know,
awesome.
somebody. Yeah.
That's incredible. I love everything that you're sharing. It's very powerful, and just having a system like that. So you find that most people they want to go for the pay setters when they join?
They do. They really do. And, you know, it depends on where they are in the profession, if they've ever done it or not. It might seem like a little bit of a jump, but I kind of make it like it's not a big deal, and that it's doable and it's easy. And guess what? We're going to do it together. And I set up anything from launch calls. We'll do a launch. You know, I always try, one of the first things I ask my new distributors, which I honestly haven't personally sponsored a lot, because I get down into the team and work with them. I think that's the most, for me, that's what's worked. I love to develop leaders. And so what was you asking me? I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I mean, you were sharing about you do launch calls.
Yeah, I do launch calls. I do three-way calls. I let them know that it's not their job to close it. It's my job to close it. So just, you know, you bring them there, tell your story, tell my story, tell somebody's story, until they get that connection of wanting to know, and then put them on the phone with me or their sponsor or some other person, and we do the closing. And that's what I have found. I really believe it's the connecting with them. And they know that they're not getting to Pro 2 by themselves, that you're there to help them get to Pro 2. We've got a guy right now that we're working on, and I always make it like it's like he's got 1,000 points, and I send him he's not my personal, he's someone in my team, but I just sent him a text and I said, you know, you're only 1,500 points away, and we've got 9 days to do it. Let's do this. And he'll say, okay, tell me what to do. And just make it fun, you know, and we celebrate everything with them and make big deals out of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can see where, you know, the deep connection that you have makes such a difference.
It really does, because people love community. They love to be, one of the things I think is so critical in this industry anyway, in our profession, is people are drawn to it because they normally don't get a lot of applause and praise and support and help, and you really get a lot of that in our profession. And I think that draws people and holds them at the same time, if they're on a good team.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have a similar strategy that you use for everybody? Like, for example, like, do you encourage people to maybe enroll their spouse or a child, or how do you go about helping them to get new distributors?
Well, that kind of has come up in the process, but it's not part of the strategy necessarily. I just sat down and, I know what I was telling you a while ago. The first thing you want to ask is, who do you know? Do you know anyone that's ever been in this industry that's been successful? This red carpet program is phenomenal. Use it. And you'll be surprised who they know. And and they'll say, well, yeah, I do know so-and-so. And one of the things I also teach my team is, if someone's happy in another company, let them be happy. Just leave them alone. You know, don't try to make them feel like they're selling dirt because you've got something better now. So you know, but if you know someone like me, I was looking during that time, even though poor Sheila, I wasn't paying any attention to her, I was still kind of looking. I just didn't think I was looking for what she had. Because
Right.
again, it was my craziness, and I was foo-fooing something, and thank goodness she kept chasing me. But there are people out there right now who are not happy with the company that they're with. They are looking, they don't know you exist. And so, you never know. You might bring in someone who's never recruited a soul in their life, but their sister might be a seven-figure earner that just lost their company. You don't know. And
Right.
so finding out who they know. And if they say, well, yeah, I do know someone, I'll say, well, can you get me on the phone with them?
Great.
I try to never let them feel like they have to do it by themselves.
That's awesome. I love that. One quick question, and then I want to turn it over to want to introduce you. Well, you saw Mark and Krista. Mark's our Pro 8 leader on our.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh,
Hi.
I'm going to
Awesome.
turn you over to him in a minute, but I just wanted to ask you one quick question before I do that, and that is, as far as LifeVantage, now you've been familiar with other companies, you've had experience with other companies. How do you see LifeVantage in comparison to your other network marketing experiences?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that's one of the points I wanted to make. I think to be successful, you have to be really bulletproof. And when I went, because I had come from loss in a company that I really, truly loved, it was very painful. And, there's a lot of people out there who have lost their companies. And it's kind of like going through a divorce and you're still in love. It's just not a good thing. You're trying to move on, but you're having difficulty moving on. And so when I went to South Carolina, I went for the purpose. I wanted to see who LifeVantage was. I wanted to get bulletproof with them because it's all about your posture and being able to posture yourself correctly. And even though I was loving the product and I had healed from it and, was having success, I actually, as far as I got from the time I had the minor stroke till 7 months later, I had reached Pro 4. That was it because I wasn't really working. I was just kind of managing to the best that I could. But when I went there and I met Darren Jensen, I was sitting back in the back and just was an observer. And I saw the family atmosphere. I heard their heart. I listened to the different people from the stage. I thought, this is the real deal. This company's here for the lifelong, and it's something I can really sink my teeth into. And we have an A+ company. There is really no comparison as far as I'm concerned, Julie. I remember when I was still hurting over losing my other company, and understand that when you run into people who've lost their companies and you're so excited because you just recruited them and they were whatever in that other company, many times they are still hurting and they're very skeptical because they've already been burnt once and you don't want to get burnt again. And when I was sitting back there, it was just such a feeling of strength. And I really felt that Darren Jensen, I remember watching his 11-minute video that was from the first year he was your CEO, that LifeVantage CEO. And I could really tell that he had a heart for the field and that he was very smart corporate-wise, but I also could tell he cared about the field. I just felt that so strong. And when I went in South Carolina, I walked away with such confidence in our company, and my posture, everything changed. And I come home and immediately made Pro 5, went on to Pro 6, and then Pro 7 because I got that piece right. And 99% of this business is built between your ears. And that's the truth. I tell people your income follows your personal growth. You have to always be growing. You've got to know that your company is the rock solid best that there is in the industry. And I feel that with all my heart. And I can go to anyone, knee to knee, face to face, and, compare, whatever. I know that we have a rock solid company and also rock solid products. Really knowing the product, I am a geek when it comes to research. Nuts over it. And oh my gosh, now with all this longevity of, this theory of aging and these 3 core products that meets the total like mother load of aging. Oh my gosh. We got it all. We got corporate, we got Aaron Gissam, we got this amazing board, this incredible product. Honest to goodness, I don't think you'd really have to know much of anything to succeed. Just,
That's awesome.
I believe that.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. I love your heart, and you gave us so many nuggets here tonight, and I just want to give some time to Mark. Mark, are you available?
I am available.
You
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Jackie, welcome. Congratulations.
Nice to meet a Pro 8. Wow.
Holy smokes. Well, it's good to have a fellow Southerner on the call. We can
Southerner. Yep, that's right.
We can draw a little sweet tea into here. Congratulations. What you've done is phenomenal. I just want to make an observation for those folks that, you know, we see folks like yourself that come into a new company or a new experience and they hit an elite rank in a year and a half or less, as you have done. And I think there's a danger for folks not understanding that might have missed the first part of your story.
Right.
The investment of time and the sacrifice and the development of skills to acquire the posture that you clearly have now. Can you just talk a little bit about that and how you instill posture in your brand new person that might not have any? The person that's coming in and they may not even know network marketing or may have some reservations about this profession that we love so much. And I know that there's a tendency to try to convince them or try to talk them into something. Just talk about how you instill that posture in your new folks.
You know, that's a great point and a really wonderful question. I remember one time I was put on the phone. Before I say that, remember back in South Carolina when the country singer did the presentation?
Jimmy,
I feel, you feel, we become friends.
And if we're friends, we can do stuff together.
That's right. And I use that approach. I keep a very low-key, backdoor, you know, I come at people, whoever I'm talking to, and with my team. If someone's brand new, that same way. I don't try to come in as a know-it-all. I usually come in from my own personal experience and what I've gone to. I know recently, within the last few months or so, someone was going to put me on a call with someone who really, really, really had their wall up. If you ever, you know what I'm talking about. They just, but yet my poor friend, she just wanted me to talk to her. But I knew I understand the wall thing because I've got it myself. And she warned me. So when I got on the phone with her, she was very curt, to say the least. And I remembered what he said, and it's, I feel, you feel, we become friends. And I heard that she too had some heart issues and had a stroke early on. And that was my first thing. I don't remember her name. And I said, first of all, I said, my friend's name was Kathy. I said, Kathy told me that you had this happen. I usually do try to know what the situation is before I get on there. And I said, I just want you to know I'm really sorry. And I didn't go about the business. I talked about life and personal. And I said, I told her what happened to me. And in that instant, Mark, her wall came down. And we ended up talking for like an hour. And when I'm working with a brand new person that's never done this industry, I remember and go back when I was new. And I try to remember, that was many years ago, but the first time I ever cut my teeth was in a company called Beauty Control, and I was like 23 years old. And I remember all the fear but you know, even anytime I think you go into a new company, you have a little trepidation. I think it's kind of normal, but I tell my story, and just like I did here, I talk about my love for this profession, and I tell them why, and I tell them some of my stories. You know, as a single parent, and how it helped me stay home with my children, even when I was only making $35,000 or $38,000 a year. And again, I find that place that I can relate to them wherever they are. And usually, because I've had such a varied past, I can find somewhere that I can relate to where they are. I think the biggest piece is you've got to get on their level, whatever that is. And let them know that that's okay. It's normal to feel this way. I just feel over the years when I've worked with people, that the ones that we've recruited or I've worked with, they all have a desire to succeed. But I think at the end of the day, what's made the difference is just, as I said, don't love them and leave them, and walk with them and and you make their goal be your goal. And I think that's the biggest thing that has helped me. I don't consider myself some great networker. I just love people.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. That's
Amen.
the truth. I just
Amen,
love
right.
people.
Let me ask you a couple more questions. We're a little over time, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
since no, it's good. Since I've got you, I want to ask. Something came to my mind. What do you look for in one of your downline leaders? Who are you looking to work with? What are they demonstrating to you that attracts your time, or just talk a little bit about who the people and prospects, the people that just out in the marketplace, out in North Carolina there. Who are you looking for? Who are the people that you're attracted to, and who are the people that you really like to work with? I guess I'm asking who your ideal networker is.
Usually, if I find anyone on our team, as I said, I work down in the team. If anyone comes in that's had a background of any success, I try to go right to work with them, get on the call with them and start working with them. If someone has person of influence, if they've got a background. I have recently, now she had a background of in the industry about 20 years ago, but she was a recent naturopath doctor for the past 10 years. And I really joined forces with her. And she's literally went to Pace Setter, went straight on to Pro 4. She's working on Pro 5 now. And I think and I know my team is still small enough that I kind of know who's working, because I work so close with my leaders. And if they tell me, hey, we got a hot one, I say, let's get on the phone. I want to meet them. And we really work so close as a community, Mark. And I think anytime we see anyone that's buzzing and real excited or have influence or they've done this in the past, it doesn't really matter to me who they are. And also someone else I pay a lot of attention to is someone who calls you a lot because they got a lot of questions. That's a hungry person. And I take the time and I work with them because everybody matters. At the end of the day, whether it's a customer that's just trying to get used to the product or a hot networker, they all matter.
Yeah.
So
I think that's well said.
At the end, that's what makes our team.
Yeah.
And they're all important.
One of the things that I love that our upline Master Pro 10 says, Marcel Niederhauser, he says, I look for people who are willing to do their part, and if you'll do your part, I'll do my part, and clearly you have done your part and beyond. You're such a delight and such a
Thank you.
a blessing to have in our company and this great profession. You're such an ambassador, and
Thank you so much.
Grateful to have you. Yeah.
Jackie, I just have to say thank you for being so real and open and normal.
I'm very normal. That's for sure.
I know.
Very normal.
And we are too. And it's just, we have a team of very normal people that are world changers.
Yeah.
And they all have genuine, beautiful hearts to really make an impact wherever they go. So this was perfect for our team.
Thank you.
We're really grateful. Thank you.
And I think that's what grows the team, and I think it's what keeps the team.
Yeah.
Even down to the last customer. And we really work on loving our customers and letting them know how much we appreciate them. And that's what makes the difference. It really does.
Yeah,
absolutely. Julie, I'm going to kick it back over to you, and here just a moment.
Thank you.
That. But yes, Jackie, that was amazing. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much.
I just want to segue on the back of something that Jackie just said, because we have a rapidly developing story. Again, those of you that have been any length of time, that our story has progressed from Nerf 2 to Nerf 1 to weight management to hair care to pet care.
To NAD.
And we have a far more complete story now with our Tri-Synergizer product, Pro Tandem, Nerf 2, Nerf 1, and NAD. Krista and I will be reaching out to our existing customer base, as many people as we can get on a phone between now and October 4th, and let them know that story has changed dramatically. That if they don't know about what we've got our hands on, Katie bar the door, they need to understand what's happened, right? Because this is, it's hyperbolic to say it's a game changer, but literally we're changing the game. Like this is a scale of magnitude more important than just Nerf 2. The synergistic effect of Nerf 2, Nerf 1, and NAD as a threefold synergizer to to deal with these theories of aging. I just think it's the most important thing that's ever happened to LifeVantage. I believe it's the most important thing. So don't be shy. Don't just limit your prospecting to people you don't know or people that you haven't called yet. Look in your downline, look in your back office, and find the people who have spent money with LifeVantage and are still doing it, or for some reason they stopped. Now is the time. We've got 2 weeks to do it. So, Julie, back over to you.
Thank you, Mark. And I think that it will be great to have a call about that, and just kind of lay it out and help people come up with a plan for that. Jackie, I have to say, I just love you. I love your story. I'm so glad that you're part of our LifeVantage family.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight and just for sharing your heart and your passion and your love for your team and for everyone. So just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight and look forward to seeing you again next Monday. So that's it for tonight. We love you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you.